So then if we're leaving the old and we are creating the new, then the next most important question is, well, if I'm going to create a new self, what thoughts do I want to think? What behaviors can I plan? And as you begin to image and rehearse a new way of being, you're changing your brain and body neurologically and biologically. That's the neuroscientific model of mental rehearsal. And as we begin to remind ourselves who we no longer want to be, and we remind ourselves every day of who we do want to be, there'll come a moment where we begin to silence the circuits in our brain that are connected to the old self and inhibit the chemicals that reaffirm the same identity, and then begin to fire and wire new circuits in our brain that begins to install the neurological hardware that begins to create a level of inspiration where we start seeing new possibilities. We see a new landscape, we see a new horizon. And that person who crosses the river of change then, all of a sudden has new opportunities in their life. And they're seeing possibilities that they never saw before. And the doors begin to open in their life. Crisis can be viewed as emergency, or crisis can be viewed as opportunity and innovation. And I think that people, when they begin to feel empowered by possibility, when they begin to see that the death of the old paradigms means the beginning of a new paradigm. Now here's the caveat. It's important because we know from the research that meditation lowers crime rate in communities. That's a fact. But when the meditators leave the community, the crime rate returns back to the same level. So it's not enough to just think peace or to think abundance. You have to demonstrate it. You have to demonstrate it in every single area of your life. In other words, if you don't like the war, you better not be warring with your coworker or arguing with your spouse. In order for you to stand up for peace, you have to be peaceful. If you don't like a government that's taking from you, start giving. Because as you begin to demonstrate that in your life, you give people permission to do the same. And as you and I begin to demonstrate peace in all areas of our life and everybody else does the same, something amazing happens. We move from this selfish model, driven by the hormones of stress, to this selfless model. And a selfless model means your heart is open and you are considering the whole when you make a decision, and that you and I are connected in some way. And I am trusting in the future instead of contracting from it, that I am connected to something greater, that I feel possibility in my life. And so we go from this selfish model driven by the hormones of stress that endorse the ego to the selfless model of everybody beginning to become connected. And so now if you're taking care of you, and you are taking care of, you're eliminating your anger or your frustration, because those hormones are very addictive, and I'm taking care of my fear and my anxiety, and someone else is taking care of their judgment and their criticism, and they're overcoming themselves, by each individual transforming themselves, the culture begins to transform very naturally. But if you're going to hold on to anger, if you're going to hold on to fear, if you're going to hold on to pain and sadness, then you'll never see possibility, and you'll only be interested in the immediate gratification that takes away that pain. Culture will never survive that way. So I think it's a very, very exciting time to be alive right now. I think a new model has to be put into place, and the model is based on selflessness. The model is based on the concept that if we want to see peace in the world, we have to demonstrate it. If we want to see abundance in the world, we have to be abundant. Gold only attracts gold. Lead doesn't attract gold. And if everybody was doing that individually and taking care of themselves, and they got that message in their head, you would see a culture all of a sudden begin to unify and to begin to connect. And that kind of idealism begins to create this concept called oneness. And oneness means that I'm connected to something greater, you're connected to something greater. What I do to you, I'm doing to myself. And so let's, as a species, as a group of individuals, begin to give, begin to take care of ourselves. And in closing, the research that I've done that has been so inspiring is that there's so much talk about self-love in the world, you know, self-love, love yourself. Well, true self-love happens when you overcome yourself, when you break free from the chains of those emotional addictions that keep you at a lower denominator, when people transmute anger into compassion, when they change fear into courage, when they take sadness and they turn it into freedom. It's the same energy, that they just liberate themselves from the past. And when people do that, the side effect of it is an appreciation for all of life, an appreciation for the moment, a relaxation, a sense of spontaneity and poise and joy that I call the natural state of being. That natural state of being is our birthright. That's who we really are. Psychology says, well, anger and aggression and fear and anxiety, insecurity, pain, those are normal states of consciousness. No, those are altered states of consciousness. The true states of consciousness is living in this state of freedom, in the state of inspiration, in the state of joy. And so, in my research, I've seen that when people actually take care of themselves and they begin to, instead of look outside of themselves for answer, no longer rely on governments or companies or corporations to make them feel better, but they're doing it on themselves, with themselves. When they transmute and change beyond their own self-limitations, they begin to love themselves, and they begin to love all of life, and all of a sudden now, they're no longer acting in predictable ways. And if they're no longer knee-jerking to the conditions in their life, boy, that all of a sudden sets off a chain reaction in the world where people begin to observe that person's different. Well, if you get enough individuals understanding the concept of change and everybody implementing it in their own way, it will be that concept of the 100th monkey. That'll be the concept of true transformation that happens quite naturally and quite easily. So crisis can be seen as emergency, or crisis can be seen as opportunity for true transformation, innovation, creativity, new ideas. And we have to think outside the box in order to do that. And thinking outside the box means we have to leave our present understanding of reality, learn new information, begin to contemplate that information, and begin to take steps towards our destiny. The hardest part of all of this is making the time to learn, making the time to prepare ourselves, making the time to design a new future, and then having the willingness to step into it and say, I trust in the unknown instead of being afraid of the unknown. And it means then that people have to become, there are solutions to every problem that we've created as a culture, as a species. But the solutions to those problems cannot be addressed from the same level of mind that created them. So that means anger and frustration and hatred and judgment. You can't solve the problems in those states. You have to get beyond those emotional states to be able to see the solutions to those problems. And if you're going to hold on to them, then you will analyze the problem within the emotion that you're addicted to, and it will reaffirm your own emotional state, and that is the karma, or the loop that people live in every day. So, what's the definition of an addiction? Something you can't stop, something you can't live without. People say, well, I'm not addicted to judgment, or I'm not addicted to anger. Well, then let's see you not suffer. Let's see you not be judgmental for a whole day, and fast from those emotional states and give your body a chance to heal. Now, we're talking about a new science, but we know from our research that people who actually do it have a fundamental shift, not only in their life, but in their health.
Wow, what a great video! I hope you enjoyed this amazing interview with Dr. Joe Dispenza. We are continuing with our daily practice of completing the inspiring quotes. If you can do it first and give us the right answer, you're the daily winner. In the previous video we were looking for 2 words of Joe Dispenza quote. The quote goes like this: "The hormones of stress cause us to believe that the outer world is more real than the..." And the correct answer is inner world. So the hormones of stress cause us to believe that the outer world is more real than the inner world. Congratulations to everyone with the correct answer. We only had a few wrong answers. Since I know you love Joe Dispenza, today's quote is from Joe Dispenza. We are looking for 2 words. So the quote goes like this: "When you get uncomfortable in the place of the unknown, that's where the..." Write your answers in the comments below the video and tell me if you love this video and our way of ending the videos. If you like this video, give your thumbs up and share it with your friends. Help me make this video more popular by sharing it. Even if you're not sure what the right answer is, try and guess. The first one with the correct answer is the winner. So don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button and don't miss any of new videos and new challenges. If you really like what we do here and want to support us, you can join our channel and our community for a symbolic fee and gain many other additional features. You can do that by clicking the join button next to the subscribe button, or you can click on the link in the description of this video. Stay good and have a great day.